Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your testimony and for appearing here today. I appreciate your candor and your opening remarks. I wanted to touch on something that you spoke about with regards to raise the age law. One of the things I've been talking about, and I actually introduced legislation about, was the 16 and 17-year-olds being able to remain in youth part criminal instead of automatically going to family court. And one of the things there is firearms, and they're only allowed to go to youth to be prosecuted in youth part criminal if they display a firearm currently. One of the things that I think should be added to that is the mere possession of a loaded firearm, which would allow district attorneys to petition to keep it in youth part criminal court. Do you think that's a minor fix that we can use regarding the gun violence in New York City, especially under the state of emergency that the governor announced?
Thank you for that question. First, I'm a strong supporter of Raise the Age. I'm a strong supporter of Raise the Age. We need to tweak that aspect of Raise the Age. And oftentimes people misinterpret how important that tweak is. If you are stating that a child that is considered for Raise the Age carries a gun but does not display that gun, then they're treated in family court. That is a problem. Similar to what many of us are aware of, what happened during the 70s and even early 80s, drug dealers would have the younger children carry the drugs because they knew they would be handled in family court. They are doing that now with guns. And I like to be very clear. I don't know if you can see this, but last year, 10% of individuals under 18 were arrested by NYPD with a gun. 6 years ago, that was only 1%. 1%. That is what's happening. And since 2019, of the 2,500 16-year-olds receiving consideration, half were rearrested and 10% for a firearm. I mean, sometimes when we hear these numbers, they're sort of a vague soundbite. No, these children are being exploited by adults to carry guns. And when you allow them to go to family court and they're adjudicated in family court, then you are going to constantly have these young people being exploited. We had a young person who was arrested with a gun, then while placed on probation in December, January, he was caught with another gun, shot himself and a police officer. If he did not shoot the police officer, he would have been treated in family court because that gun was not exposed. That is a part of the bill that we need to tweak.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So switching gears a little, I want to talk about mayoral control of the schools. I know that we're discussing extending it for 4 years. I'm more in line with 3 years because I think that should be, and it regardless of who is mayor. I support mayoral control. I just think there's always room to reevaluate and tweak, and we've seen that over the years, especially during my time as a member of Community Education Council for District 31 in Staten Island. But one of the things that I've been trying to advocate to change in mayoral control is to increase parent engagement. And that involves maybe the PEP members having more parents assigned. And additionally, I would like to remove the ability for the appointing authority to automatically remove a PEP member. I think that if we allow only to remove a PEP member for cause, that will make sure that when they're voting on the proposals by the mayor and the chancellor, regardless of who that is, the merits of that plan will stand the vote. Not necessarily because there's maybe some arm twisting because of the person who appointed you. Could you touch on that?
Yeah, I am fully supportive of parent engagement. That was my number one complaint about mayoral control, is the lack of engagement with parents and having them have input. That is why I was really proud of bringing on Chancellor David Banks. When I attended what David Banks did in the Eagle Academy And I used to go to his PTA meetings, and I would see standing room only. He did not build a system that was centered around what the administrators wanted. He built a system that was centered around parents. And I believe that's what we must do with mayoral accountability. But I want to be clear that I need to be held responsible for improving our schools. And it's challenging to do so without having the 4-year period that's needed. And you don't have to feel as though you need a piece of legislation to say that Eric is not going to listen to your input and your consultation on what's happening in your particular school's districts, because that is not the case. The goal is to hear from parents, to hear from those lawmakers that are receiving input from parents, and build a school system that's responsive to that. And I need 4 years. I need 4 years to accomplish this. I saw what happened when I was in Albany, and I saw what happened this year. Every 2 years, you're trying to figure out and plan forward on what to do. We can't go back to the old system, and we need to hold the mayor of the city of New York responsible for educating our children. Parent feedback is important. We're going to seek that, and I was very clear with my chancellor, and we're going to get that feedback from our parents.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.